Hello and welcome to another episode of the Women's Sports Matters podcast. I am your host, Gianna Belcastro, and let's just get this ad read out of the way. You know how it is. You know how this goes. This is episode 6 or 7. 7, I think. But yeah, you know how it goes here now. Let's get the ad read out of the way.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I highly recommend this app. It is the easiest way to make a podcast, and my podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, and many more. If you want to create something for people to listen to, download the free Anchor app today.
Isn't that just fantastic? Now, you're not bothered in the middle of this episode. Crazy, am I right? Alright, I just want to start off by saying that I recently started a YouTube channel. You should go subscribe. It's the same name as the podcast. Link in the description. You know how it is. There's not much to explain. All of my episodes are up, and my latest one is up. So my latest from last week. So if you are from Anchor or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to let me know in the comments. So yeah, just wanted to also say that I have a YouTube channel. Look up the name of the podcast. It should come up, or any of the episodes. And subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening and you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to my podcast on wherever you find your podcast. Now let's get into the episode. Today we are going to be talking about a subject that means a lot to me as a sports watcher and player, and that is politics in sports. Now you might be thinking to yourself, you should be keeping politics out of sports. There's no room for politics. There's no room for anything. Just play sports. Shut up and dribble, LeBron. You know how it is. Thank you, Laura Ingraham, for coming on this week's podcast. Yeah, no, I'm kidding, guys. Listen, what Laura Ingraham said was completely wrong. If we're gonna start off talking about this, saying it's okay for Drew Brees to have his opinion on the flag and kneeling, versus LeBron and telling him to shut up and dribble? Are you kidding me? Last time I checked, we have First Amendment rights. But I know it's just her opinion on this. But telling someone to shut up and dribble is not okay. I would give other examples, but I think you can create your own. What Drew Brees said was wrong. Okay, I think we can already establish that. Drew Brees saying that kneeling during the national anthem is disrespectful to the military is wrong. Because it is not about the military. It's all together now. Let's say it. 3, 2, 1. It's for police brutality and discrimination and injustices in America. And you want to know who told Colin Kaepernick it was okay to kneel? A veteran. When Megan Rapinoe did it, immediately U.S. Soccer was like, nope, we're going to make it so that you are unable to do this. And then the NFL did the same thing. But now those two sports organizations are saying it's okay to protest during the national anthem, which is what we need. Telling athletes that they should not be able to do this violates our First Amendment rights. I don't understand why people are making such a big deal out of this. It's time to take action, folks. And if you can't take action, then what the hell are you doing right now besides listening to my podcast? Have you done anything? Have you signed petitions? Have you donated? Have you gone out and marched? Have you given out water or sunscreen or food at protests? Like, come on. Did you write in chalk on your driveway or sidewalk? Do something. This is absolutely ridiculous what is happening. We deserve to be able to go out in the streets and protest, no matter what your occupation is. It's unfair and unjust, and we deserve to be heard. The NBA and WNBA players are speaking out and making a voting rights group, and I think that is pretty damn cool. The fact that those two organizations are coming together for something amazing like that is it's gonna go so far. And I'm really excited to see how that plays out. Since we're talking about athletes protesting and talking about how there's a lot of injustices and that's why they kneel, we're going to be also discussing today my least favorite NWSL player. I don't even want to say her name, but I'm going to, so you know who I am referring to. Jaylene Hinkle. That's who we're talking about. I will not be saying her name. Maybe I'll say her last name. But just imagine that instead of an I, there's an asterisk there like everyone does on Twitter, because I just love that. We're going to be going more in depth today about what she's done. So recently on Twitter, there was this woman, I forgot her handle, but she was retweet quoting a men's soccer podcast. And it was about what Hinkle did was right, but what Rapinoe did was wrong. Oh boy. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're in for a treat. I replied using my podcast Twitter at WSM Podcast, saying, okay, you want to hear an actual episode about this whole Hinkle thing? Listen to my NWSL Champions Cup podcast. I got a few likes out of it. A lot of people saw it. I mean, I hate to promote myself in that kind of situation, but I think it's time people be educated. And I will be now replying to my tweet on there with this episode so that people can actually hear about what happened. And let me explain it in more depth. I mean, we'll also be talking about other things too today, but I just want to touch on this too. Hinkle was called up to the U.S. women's national soccer team. That is a big deal, first of all. To be able to make that roster is absolutely exciting and worth it. To make any national team roster is amazing, and that's so cool. Like playing in the World Cup or playing in a friendly even, it doesn't matter. You're on the freaking U.S. women's national team. Keep that in mind. This person also has won the NWSL Cup a few times, I believe, with the NC Courage. So, like, apparently she's good, but not really. Like, I don't know. I don't watch the Courage. I'm a Red Stars fan for life. And I was not there to watch the Red Stars lose 5-0 in that championship game. I was busy that day. But when I found out, I lost my shit. I will tell you that much. Hinkle said that she did not want to wear a rainbow jersey during Pride Month, I believe, or during a Pride game or something, I don't know, with the U.S. women's national team. She refused to wear a jersey, saying it went against her religion. What? Really? I'm sure that she'll wear one with a Confederate flag on it if we want to go that far, guys. I don't understand what's so hard about wearing a rainbow jersey. What? Like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like, the fact that you're rejecting to play on the U.S. women's national team because of a rainbow-colored jersey, then what the hell are you doing playing soccer? Saying it goes against your religion is another thing, too. Saying it goes against your religion is an excuse, not a reason. There is no reason not to wear this jersey. Apparently, she ain't proud to be an American, folks. And there's a lot of ways you could put that. I'm talking to you Republicans out there. Home of the free? Nope. Or the brave? Nope. Y'all are cowards. But that's a subject for another day. Oh, God. I'm so angry with America, but it's whatever. Jeez. But going back to Hinkle. My arm just cracked as I was waving my arm in frustration. Anyway. It's an excuse, not a reason. You're unbelievable. There's a lot of Christian or Catholic or religious people a part of the community. You know that, right? I technically used to be a Catholic queer, but I'm not religious anymore. Personal reasons. But saying that because of your religion that you can't support this is unbelievable. Have you seen or talked to Julie Ertz, Morgan Bryan, Tobin Heath, Alyssa Nair, Allie Long? Like, have you talked to those people? Do you know them? Right, you don't, because you don't play in the national team. That's okay. Do you know how many gay people are also on the national team? Just a question. Like, there's a good amount of players on that team that I identify as part of the community. And you're basically saying that you don't support them when you are going to disagree with wearing that jersey. You know how many Courage teammates are also a part of the community? Like, what do you say to them? How do you talk to them? I'm curious. Honestly, I would love to have Hinkle come onto this podcast. I really, really would. Then we can... and I can just yell at her for half an hour. That would be wonderful. Listen, she's gotten a lot of hate for this. Like Kaepernick got a lot of hate for kneeling. There's a difference between this is okay to protest and this is not. Last time I checked, we are all human beings. And last time I checked, we are all human beings. And one more time, last time I checked, we are all human beings. It's not okay for this to happen. At all. Disrespecting your teammates and your country, that's not how it goes. There was also the tweet that really started this all off was when, I remember Ashlyn Harris and Glennon Doyle, I believe, I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. I looked at this a few days ago, but it was a video talking about Hinkle, like, oh, she refused to play in the national team, and she's our hero. Our hero? That motherfucker is not our hero. No one's here. In fact, we don't need her. She can stand the Courage, okay? You know how long it took the Courage to get a Pride logo on for their social media accounts? Most of the teams had theirs up right away on June 1st. It took them, like, June 10th. Like, what? Courage is problematic. but the players on the team are not. I'm just saying as a whole, very problematic group. Go Red Stars. And Portland Thorns. And every other team. Whatever. But the whole point with this is not to say that Hinkle's a bad person. But maybe it is, actually. Here's my final take on this before we move on. It's not right to disrespect your actual teammates because of rainbow colors on a jersey. I would hate to be your teammate. I would hate to work with you, knowing that there was a homophobe standing next to me and passing me the damn soccer ball. If there was a homophobic person, and for my company or whatever, and I was in charge and I found out, you'd be fucking fired real fucking quick. Okay? There is no room for homophobia, especially within the U.S. Women's National Team and the NWSL. Because, I hate to break it to you, Hinkle, you celebrate Pride Month when you have the season, right? Right. You also have a bunch of gay flags flying around your stadium and literally everywhere you play, right? Right. And finally, you play with teammates that are a part of the community. So what is so hard about truly accepting the people around you? I don't understand why we're having problems with this. I don't understand why people use religion as an excuse. And why people are just ignorant anyway. Like I said before, we are all human beings. We deserve it. We deserve to be treated like ones. Honestly, how does Hinkle still have her job? I don't care how good of a defender he is. Okay? I don't care. It doesn't matter how good anyone is at their job. It matters how good of a person they are. And clearly she is not a good person. I will be waiting for your apology just so I can say I don't accept. Because you have not proved to anyone that you're an actual good person. And honestly, Jesus be hating on you right now because God is the only one that could judge. Last time I checked, right? I went to Catholic school for 6 years. I think I know some stuff still. Jesus said, love thy neighbor. Right? Yeah. Don't be judgy. He literally told dudes to stick something in their eyes because of their catcalling or whatever. Basically, to put that way, God judges, not you. He's the final person. So that's that with the religion shit. This is the most I've sworn on it in an episode, by the way. And I get really mad talking about this because I don't get to talk to anyone about this. And seeing this stuff on social media makes me angry. She is not a true patriot, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary folks. She's just a homophobe. Playing in a very gay soccer league. Okay. You know what, Hinkle? If you're listening, you are welcome on my podcast. We can talk about the NWSL. We can talk about the NC Courage. We can talk about all this. Okay? You want to come on? I won't yell at you. I promise. We can have a nice, civil conversation. Just you and me. And that's all. I'm inviting you to take this opportunity to apologize to your teammates, people you've affected, and the NWSL and U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. Hey, you know what? I'll even send you a pride flag. I'll buy you a pride flag. And then you can write Christians for soccer on it. Like Trump was handed an LGBTs for Trump. I'll give you a flag like that. Okay? Or Hinkles for the gays. I'll put that on there instead. Or I'll make my own flag. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about for Hinkle, guys. I'm sorry, I just think that's really funny. Moving on. Matt Gaetz is a tool. That's what we're still talking about, the kneeling stuff. Matt Gaetz is a Republican senator or congressman. Is he in the House or the Senate? He's a congressman for Florida's 1st District. So he's in the House. I'm very smart, guys. I promise. From the House. From Florida. And he's a tool. Why? Because he's a very bad politician and just a very bad person. Okay, he is writing up something to be passed in the House so that it can be against the law for you to kneel during the national anthem. And don't make the leagues pay. Yeah. So you're going to be fined for kneeling. I don't understand how that can even be passed because, again, First Amendment rights, I believe. I may be incorrect or correct, let me know. But I believe that you can't do that. Okay, but Matt Gaetz is a tool, and that's all I wanted to say. He's a very bad politician, and he deserves to not be reelected, but Florida is in its own little world, so if you're from Florida and you live in the 1st District, please do not vote for Matt Gaetz when he's up for reelection. You have every right to kneel. In fact, when I was in school, I almost just dropped my phone, because that's what I used to record these podcasts, because I cannot afford a microphone. Anyway, when I was in school, I remember, I think it was one of my first days of freshman year. It was Pledge of Allegiance time, 2nd period, you know what that means. Stand up for the flag. And I went to a Catholic school my freshman year. This was before I transferred to public school my junior year. But I remember I did not want to stand for the national anthem. I was tired of everything that was happening, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to do it. But then I realized I was sitting by a bunch of white, conservative, Christian, patriotic boys. Patriotic with sarcasm, folks. I was scared out of my mind because I did not want to be yelled at by anyone, so I decided to stand for the flag. It's stupid to think about, but honestly, I wish that I stood up for myself back then like I do now. Junior year, I sat for half the school year, and then I realized, I keep getting looked at. I'll just stand and not put my hand over my heart. The whole reason that we do the national anthem anyway is really weird, actually. If you really think about it and you research why we do the national anthem, it's quite preposterous, and it doesn't really make sense. I remember learning in school, I believe, why we do the national anthem. But I didn't think it would be that stupid. Let me know if you learned about why we say the national anthem in school, because that's it's a pretty interesting topic, actually, and it's worth to be mentioned. So obviously, we already know what it means, but, you know, it's supposed to be talking about we pledge our allegiance, because, you know, we're Americans, and, fun fact of the day, the first time it was, said was in 1918. As I'm reading this online. because I don't do research beforehand. But where'd it go? Yeah, during the 1918 World Series. But, yeah. I don't want to stand anymore for the anthem. I think one time I went to a White Sox game one time. I think I sat, and I think I got looked at by my mom. But I don't think she understand. Ooh, as I'm reading this, Quora, you cannot be forced to stand or recite the Pledge of Allegiance. But some teachers and some school districts will try to pressurize kids into reciting it. Also, really quickly, I know this is going off topic from sports. I will get to it in a second. But apparently some states, I saw this on TikTok, like they had their own little national anthem thing, like Texas or whatever. Like, the hell is that? Illinois doesn't have that. If you're from Texas or a state that has like their own little state national anthem thing, can you send me what it is? I think it's so funny. Why can't I find it? This is stupid. Just dead silence because I don't do research beforehand. Wow. Okay. We'll get back to that as I'm going to move on and talk about the last topic, and then we'll get back to the national anthem thing. I want to talk about one of the greatest basketball players of all, women's basketball players of all time, because I don't want to get hate for saying, oh my god, greatest basketball player of all time. You're definitely talking about the men, right? No, I'm talking about women. This is a podcast about women, okay? It's because of Maya Moore, and she never retired, guys. Like, I don't know why people are saying that she retired. She's taking 2 seasons off to work for social justice reform, and she got a guy out of jail. She won that flipping court case. She's done so much for the league, the W, and the United States. Honestly, whatever she decides to do with her career, whether she decides to retire or continue what she's doing but playing basketball, I think it's really cool either way what she's doing. I remember when the Minnesota Lynx protested with wearing t-shirts for Eric Gardner back when he died. I believe 2016 or 2017. I know it happened a long time. Well, not a long time ago, but like a few years ago. But it's really cool how you can just do more than one thing, no matter what your profession is. And I just want her to be recognized. She is not recognized a lot. She's one of the best players the Minnesota Lynx has ever seen. Besides Lindsay Whalen, come on. She's iconic. And Simone Augustus. But, she deserves all the praise. She is doing so much right now, and she's not getting recognized. So I just want to take this time to say, Maya Moore, thank you so much for all that you've done for the W and outside the W. We miss you in the W, and we hope to see you back soon. And if we don't see you back, we just want to say thank you for everything you've done for the league. I believe I saw her play once, Lindsay Whalen's last game. Maybe she wasn't even playing at that time. Was she playing? I don't know. I remember going to a Lynx game. It was amazing. It was Lindsay Whalen's last game, actually. I got very lucky to see that. Last home game. I'm sorry. It was a very fun game. Obviously, the Storm won because of Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart and Jewel Lloyd. Just that whole team was amazing that year. And they deserved the world, and they got that. Sue Bird, also incredible. There's so many incredible women that are in the W that fight for more than just, like, they do more outside of playing basketball. Like, Megan Rapinoe and Sue Bird, power couple. There's even t-shirts saying, Bird Rapinoe 2020. And I want to buy that. Like, they're very iconic, and they fight for us. They deserve to be in the White House. Maybe they should study politics for a bit if they actually want to do that. But there's so many great people in these sports leagues fighting for people's rights and protesting and doing more than just playing basketball. So they don't need to shut up and dribble. They need to keep talking because they're doing a lot. They're inspiring other people in their respective communities to rise up and become better than who they are right now. It's important to recognize that people are actually starting to support the Black Lives Matter movement, LGBT rights, trans rights, and many more. I think what these athletes are doing are incredible, and sports and politics should be kept to the way it is right now. Athletes should be involved in politics as people in other professions are involved in politics. I don't think it matters who you are. You have the right to vote in the U.S. if you register and you follow whatever the law is. And it's important to remember to speak up and to use your voice and to use your platform if you have one. And to make sure that, what you're saying is truthful. And, yeah. I'm reading now about the Anthem, because I can't do two things at once. And this is kind of weird. So the Anthem was adopted in 1931. Why is it talking about this dude? Francis Scott Keys? That's not the national anthem. I'm talking about... I don't care. What is this? I don't care about this national anthem. Finally. No, not that's too... Jesus Christ. The hell is this? This is stupid. I cannot find it. What? Why is this difficult? I'm not going to get into why sports are intertwined with saying the national anthem before games. I have no idea how that started or why that started, but I would just like to say a majority of the athletes that are playing in the United States are not United States citizens. I feel like it's a half and half, but like especially in Major League Baseball or the NWSL, it's more people from overseas. Like, if we're really going to play national anthems, you might as well play every single one. I'm kidding, obviously. But I understand why it was put into place because of, because we're patriotic, and we gotta pledge our allegiance to the flag. We ain't no Russians out here. If you actually know why we do the national anthem, can you let me know, please, in the comments on YouTube? It's just that I cannot find it right now, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I think the reason that we started doing it was during the Red Scare to say that we were, like American citizens or whatever, or during World War II or something. I don't know. But I feel like that's what I remember learning in school. Or, like, I found that out. But, like, now it's hard to find. Maybe I'm just saying random BS. I don't know if I'm right or not. Just let me know, please. I clearly need to research before I do these podcast episodes. But, whatever. That's all I'm going to be talking about today. I know there was a very, very long tangent about many different things. Again, I want to remind folks, when listening, all thoughts are my own. Thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Follow the podcast on @WSM Podcast on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe wherever you're listening right now. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask. Do what you want to do. Protest if you want. Just don't wave a Confederate flag. They lost the war. It's not patriotic. It's disrespectful. I'm your host, Gianna Belcastro. Thank you for listening. And have a nice day. That's all, folks.